From the backstretch at Saratoga, this is Handicappers Report. The Handy Report is brought to you by Panel's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. The new Capital OTB wagering platform. Bet any place, anytime with the new Capital OTB wagering platform. And CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier wagering site in New York State.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Handicappers Report, coming to you live from the backstretch of Saratoga Race Course alongside Seth Merrow. I am Anthony Mormino. Another tremendously perfect day. And I don't know if today is more perfect than yesterday because it's not quite as chilly.
I'm looking.
Yeah, we had a little incident. Literally, as they were counting me down, the left-hand turn that
okay, he just hit a cone.
The two of them, which, by the way, having lived that experience, I haven't hit it, but I understand the driver's thing. That is a tough turn to make where they traditionally have put the two cones. They should be down about 10 more feet. It's too much of a sharp angle. You know, you can't make cars go at a right angle, so yeah, I understand.
All I heard was a little pop there.
Yeah, you're hoping it wasn't a tire or something.
It was okay.
Yeah, and they are.
Yeah, they just hit the cone.
Perfect day, folks. If you're lounging around, the card starts at 12:05, first off. 12:05 to get the 13 races in. Heck, stick around for Del Mar's 11 race card. I said it yesterday. It will be easier for me to handicap the 2 days of the Breeders' Cup than it was to do Saturday at the two major thoroughbred racetracks. This is outstanding racing. I mean, I don't mind the difficulty of it. I embrace it. But unfortunately, for the first time, Seth, since about day 24, I am taking on water, and I am about $5 shy of beating the meet. And I'm not. It's important to me, and and I don't see a lot of relief today.
God bless you, because I was in a great spot, the halfway point, and then continued on decently until about the last week and a half, and just I went ice cold. As far as top picks, the picks overall are doing okay. As an example, I threw my first for top picks yesterday. That was a frustrating day. And earlier this week, I think I had 2 on Wednesday and 1 on Thursday. So overall, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I had 3 top picks. And I was looking at the results this morning. 12 of my second choices won, and which is so frustrating. You know, when you handicap, it's so easy to, flip-flop those top two in races where, if you came back and looked at the same race 5 minutes later than you did originally, you may have the second choice. So it's just, I had 3 top choices and 12 second choices. It was just frustrating. But at the last week and a half or so, it's treading water.
I live in that area because I'm often, my second place horse is perhaps the horse that the race goes through, and I'm trying to beat them. So I live in that. I have a thicker, I'm used to that. The second place horse is winning far more races because I'm trying to beat that horse. Now, what was ironic yesterday was the only favorite was in the opener, the John Terranova, and I think we both like the Eddie Keneally horse from the rail. And when the wagering opened, I know John Terranova's horse was about, I think 9-2, but maybe 5-1, first timer. And when I saw the odds board, it's one of those cases where I now know I am swimming upstream because they have a live one. Now, Eddie Keneally's horse was good in live also, but as I've always said about trainers and their own horses, they're all about this horse can really run. I'm like, yeah, but the other guy's horse might be able to really run too. That's why I always only want to hear the negative information. So, and then after that, hail on paying $40 for Tom Albertrani. And that's why I always wish for Naira would copy Gulfstream, where if my math is right, only one person hit the pick 6 yesterday. I'm pretty sure my math is right. And about 70 people, it seems like, would have the conso. But I'd love to know how many were live after the first leg. Because the pick 5 only came back $1,200, which to me is a not gargantuan price for a pick 5. I don't follow it, but $1,200 to hit 5 races in a row seems like, a moderate payout for that. So the one more leg was Hail On. I'd love to have seen how many tickets were live going into the second leg, but that's not something we do here. But I've always thought it was fun. I mean, I don't know. I appreciate the tracks that do it. I don't get the. I suspect the technology is there, so they just don't want to do it.
Absolutely.
So they don't want to do it. As I always say about timing races, we get a man to the moon and we get him back. We can time races. We just don't want to do it. I mean, that's as simple as that.
Yeah, so I didn't look. The early pick 5 you're saying came back 1,200?
No, the late one. The one that encompassed the pick 6.
Oh, okay.
Because I thought that made more
It's actually
sense to.
It's actually 1,100.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
1,139.
Okay. I rounded up.
So there you had. Oh, well, that didn't include the $41 horse, though.
It didn't?
No. That was the 5th race. The pick 5 started in the 6th race.
How many races were yesterday?
10.
So when do you think was the first leg of the pick 6?
You were talking about the pick 5, right?
No.
Well, the pick 5 was you said $1,200.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, so in conjunction, Hail On, the pick 5 people got.
Oh, got 1,200.
Right, and it, as a like.
But you were saying
as a function of the pick 5, Hail On got you 160,000.
Yeah, 160.
Versus the 1,200, which you corrected me is 1,139. For Hail On. I'm like, that's what I talk about. That's where my bankroll doesn't allow. That's kind of similar to the superfecta as a function of the trifecta. It just blows up, but I don't have the bankroll to buy the all button, which I do think is the right betting acumen for betting the superfecta. So for the pick 5 players, 1139 to me sounds like a reasonable hit. But obviously 159,000 is changes your decade, and Hail On was that horse.
I'm looking though, the 1,100 might seem a little short. I mean, you started with the $5 horse, but then 8, and then 3 low double digits, but 10, 10, and 12. So.
Well, always remember this, because I got caught up that also. Remember that you get tripped up with that because the mutuals are $2 and the pick 5 is 50 cents, so you got to multiply by 4.
Yeah,
I used to always think it was way out of whack, and then I started doing the right math, and I was like,
I get it, but just looking at other pick 5.
So I think one person walked away, and I've always said this. I hope. I honestly hope it was a $36 ticket. That's probably, but maybe $200-300 ticket, whatever it is. I hope it made their meat, let's say, for the next 5 years.
You would think.
You
would hope.
I hope they didn't have a lot invested in it. So kudos. And kudos to John Terranova getting a first-time winner. Kudos to Tom Albertrani and the rest.
You mentioned it. Pacific Classic as well today out at Del Mar. Don't forget that'll go off our time at about 8:50 tonight. Everybody looking at the flight line, obviously 4 for 4 so far in an abbreviated career for a 4-year-old, certainly, but a brilliant career with the maiden victory, an optional claimer, then the Malibu last year, the 1 start this year in the Metropolitan Mile. I'll tell you, though, I'm looking at Brisnet PPs in front of me, and on the Brisnet speed figures, there are a couple of horses in here that are right in the ballpark. Royal Ship, Express Train, both fired numbers that match up with the Met Mile number on a Brisnet figure for Flightline. Country Grammar, who won the Dubai World Cup 2 back in second last time behind Royal Ship.
I think Johnny V's out there to ride him, right?
Yeah.
Johnny V's out there to ride him, Flavien Prat. Now, here's a question for you, because I know your point of reference, and I call it the Ghost Zapper angle. Justify is obviously going to get in the Hall of Fame because he had a 110-day career, but he won the American Triple Crown. Personally, I'm not so sure he could warm up Flightline. But if Flightline wins his next 2 races, does he go to the Hall of Fame?
These days, probably. I mean, I just think...
Because my thing would be, you realize... there was a time when Ghost Zapper and Bernardino, both ridden by Javier Castellano, would be like, they're not close to each other. And I would think Flightline and Justify is not very close in ability, and they're both going to have abbreviated career. But I've always said Justify to me, it's not the lack of races, it's the fact that you only ran 120 days.
Yeah.
And he's going to walk in. It's my opinion. So, ready for the DePaul Play of the Day? Got the what was the attendance on
yesterday? 26,689.
Unbelievable.
So solid day there. Irod Ortiz 11 ahead of Luis Saez, 47-36. Chad Brown currently 5 ahead of Todd Pletcher, 38-33 on the trainer side as we head into the last 3 days.
All right. Time for the DePaul Play of the Day.
When you think trucks, think DePaula.
Save this week and drive any new Chevy like Equinox with 0 down payment, 0 first payment, and 0 security.
Then come join the family for value. Just visit, call, or click. So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
Hello everybody, Kevin Cox, the Brooklyn Cowboy here with the DePaula Play of the Day from beautiful Saratoga Race Course on Labor Day weekend. We've been giving you our Play of the Day on Fridays and Saturdays throughout the meet, and heading into yesterday's action, we were on a nice little streak with 3 wins and a showing from our last 4 selections to date, giving us a flat bet profit on the win end. We're going to close things out this summer, looking at the second race, the traditional Daily Double, with the number 7 Powerful. This colt from the Steve Asmussen barn went for nearly 10 times the $55,000 stud fee at auction last year, so it was obviously well meant. The colt lived up to his billing first time out, with a game and decently clear runner-up finish right here 6 weeks ago. There isn't much speed signed on, so we love the tactical draw as we envision a stalking or maybe even a front-end type scenario setting up here. There was a bullet breeze just 16 days after that race, which shows you that no starch was taken out of the collar and could be sitting on a real corker here. So once again, our final DePaula Play of the Day selections from Saratoga this summer. Race 2, number 7, Powerful. And we'll see you at the races.
When you think trucks, think DePaula.
Save this week. Drive Silverado, just $369 a month. Yes, $369 a month.
Then come join the family for value. Just visit, call, or click. So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, the Handicappers Report on a gorgeous 13-race card kicking off at 12 o'clock with 2-year-olds, maiden special weights on the inner open company.
I have it. Let me just make sure I have the right day. Yeah, I got two. I got
I understand.
PPs in front of me.
I understand.
I have a 3, 8, 7, and 4. Ari Gold on top. Todd Pletcher, first-time starter. Medaglia d'Oro with first-time starters this year. 40 starts, 5 wins, 4 seconds, 4 thirds. There's a sibling called Petruccio, third, second, and then 1 in the 4th career start. That workout back on August 20th kind of jumps out a little bit too. I think this horse will be live in debut for a trainer who is often very live in debut up here at Saratoga. Second slot, I'm going to take a look at General Jim. Experience counts, and the Shug horse by Into Mischief ran decently in debut. Third, but showed a little oomph early before fading a little bit. Was a little intrigued that they had the last couple of workouts on the turf, and that may bode well that maybe the first one was just some practice, and maybe they had some thoughts about the turf. We'll see this afternoon. But again, I thought the horse could be an intriguing player in here with the experience under the belt. And then Tommy Amos has running late. 12-1 on the morning line. There was a full sibling called Wildcat Nation. Second, then first, then second, then third, and then 1 3 starts. So in the first, what are we looking at? 7 starts, 4 wins, a couple of seconds, and a third. But there is an albeit. Those performances were at Fauner and Arapahoe. And the total earnings through that period were about $30,000. So, take it for what it's worth. I thought the horse showed some win early, some talent early. But again, that was at the lower level circuit. So running late may be intriguing to me at a price 3, 8, 7, and 4.
My favorite, but besides the racetrack that doesn't have owner silks, I think it's Grants Pass has the soccer fields.
That's
is
right.
the infield. That's my favorite of all time. Look it up someday. I don't think they're having a meet this year. They had a little situation because I want to go now, but they have soccer fields
that was the one
in the infield.
I think Jason Beam was the caller, right? Didn't the lights go out last year on one of
this
the
gets
last
better.
race, the last race of the day? I think.
Wow, 3-4-7 for me. The Medaglia d'Oro Todd Pletcher runner Ari Gold is my top pick, as with Seth's. For second, one of our disparities is Please Baby, making the 3rd career start, improved dramatically, went to turf, got a route, and got blinkers. Those 3 things led to a better performance, and then running late, a very sharp workout for Tom Amos for a debut. 3-4-7. I think it's Travers. I think I just got blocked in. Apparently he doesn't know I have to go to a wedding right away, but That's interesting. He voluntarily moved right there and just parked it. Like, you see the cars, right?
We'll get you.
Wow.
That was a little strange. Just before I get started on race 2, reminder, because yesterday we were kind of going back and forth on times for the next couple of days, and it is, as it has been for a few years now, Sunday and Monday, 12:35. So today's 12:05. Tomorrow and Monday, 12:35. So, mark that on your calendar. If you're headed up here, make sure you come a little bit early. 12:35 Sunday and Monday, 12:05. Today. Oh, also, because of the early post time today, we kind of have an abbreviated Racing Across America top of the hour. Pete Fornatal will join us, the In the Money podcast, and we'll talk a little handicapping and what with Pete. And then Tim Wilton will join us as well, a longtime racing writer for the Times Union, but now he's working with the Blood Horse. Doing a little bit for Horse Racing Nation as well, but we'll have Tim come over also. And then kind of wind things up early so we can get to the NYRA pregame show this morning with their early start with the early.
If he's making the drive to Kentucky Downs, I'd be intrigued because I like road trips, but that is a little bit outside the window of
I think he said
about 15 hours. Yeah,
I think he said
it's easy in Albany with Southwest.
But we're mentioning that because Tim's going to go down and cover some of the Kentucky Downs meet for their publicity department. But the second race at Saratoga on this Saturday afternoon, closing weekend Saturday afternoon. Maiden specials going for $105,000, 7 furlongs is the trip.
And as I promised, I might be $5 to the negative to the meet, but we are not grinding it out as my best friend wanted me to do. I am not playing the game that way. 6-7-3 Parkway, 8-1 on the morning line on debut for Bill Mott and Offspring of Quality Road. With the one-word names, you might suspect that Claiborne is involved, and they are. 2 workouts back, breezing from the gate, quick enough for me to put Parkway on top with Javier in the saddle. For second, right next door in the starting gate, second-time starter, sharp on debut, beaten favorite, number 7, Powerful for Steve Asmussen. And for third, number 7, Fighter Town, another Bill Mott runner, and Into Mischief for Godolphin. Didn't realize that Into Mischief is now $250,000. So 6-7-3.
I have it 7, 8, 1, and 2. I put Powerful on top. Experience counts. This one just missed. We know the Asmussen runners sometimes or oftentimes can show improvement in their second career start. There was a sibling called Stacks of Silver that ran 5th in debut, then 3 seconds, a 4th, and a couple of wins. So in the first 7 starts, a couple of wins in 3 seconds. So I thought there was a little win early on the breeding. Just missed living up to that in the debut. But again, with the Asmussen training regimen, should break through this afternoon. Upgrade in the second slot. It's a Todd Pletcher runner with some experience under the belt. Well beaten in the third, but a well beaten 10 lengths in the debut effort. Pletcher, Rapoli and company, but I thought could benefit from that experience and move forward. Full Moon Madness, another one with some experience under the belt, could be interesting. Tappett's Conquest by Tappett. There was a sibling called Queen Best, third, and then 1 in the second career start. Brad Cox Firster, the number 2, could be interesting in an 8-1 morning line. And I will note we will be rooting for Surprise Payoff going out for our friends at Bonaventure Stable. So we wish Dan Collins and company a lot of good luck this afternoon in the second race with Surprise Payoff. I couldn't pull the trigger there, but I would not be shocked to see an improved effort. In the second, I have it 7, 8, 1, and 2.
On to the third, and we're going 3-year-olds and up, open company. Non-winners of one other than coming out of the Wilson chute at a mile.
Dark horse play of the day is going to be the number 5 Strong Quality, 5, 6, 4, and 8. There we go. Maybe that bodes well. I don't know, but I am
not of late.
I will,
for the first 5 or 6 weeks, yes, but not of late.
I will hold up extended comments on that one until we do the play of the day. Boy, I liked the play of the day yesterday. On top of the stretch, I thought we were just could not get that one going though late. So the 5 on top, up to the mark. Likely the one to beat off the big debut win right up here for Todd Pletcher, but it was over a sloppy track. We'll see if this one can do it on a dry track today. I won't be shocked if that happens, though, off the debut effort. Again, likely the one to beat up to the mark. And then Taiwanaku in the third slot. Plenty of early speed, and maybe to catch me if you can. Horse in here. Speed's always dangerous. The Churchill race 2 back was very good. The follow-up at Saratoga was okay. And now we cut back a furlong, which may be beneficial for the horse with the early speed. So for me, 5, 6, 4, and 8.
5-1-2 Strong Quality, making the first start since the end of winter. Was rooting 2 turns down at the fairgrounds for Mark Cassie. The offspring of Quality Road has a couple of very quick workouts for the return. For a second from the rail, number 1, Aussie Pride. Bill Mott's runner took on winners for the first time, most recently beaten favorite at Churchill in early June. And then for third, Up to the Mark, and just, very sharp on debut, big buyer. The wet Thomas number is 441. I know we've had this discussion before. I think it's an odd number. That's the ceiling, I think, like 487 or something. And Up to the Mark and offspring, and not this time. And Damn Sire, Ghost Zapper, figured to like the off-going. 5-1-6. By the way, also, I think it was it You're My Girl yesterday? That's the second biggest winning margin of the meet. Wayne Catalano had the drop-down horse that won by almost 2 dozen, but 14 and change. That's pretty hard to do in a 6-furlong race. So that's it. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, graded stakes action on tap.
A day at the track isn't complete without a night at the Horseshoe. Great food, hot music, and cold drinks. So why go downtown when all the action's just across from the track? The Horseshoe Inn at the corner of Nelson and Gridley.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Oops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
Birdstone is an outside front. They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Here comes Birdstone. Birdstone surges past. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes. In front, but here comes High Chaparral. High Chaparral, the defending champ, to take it to Bob. These two arch rivals head to head with Joe Hart bearing down on them. It's going to be a 3-horse photo finish to the turn. Here's the wire. Photo finish.
Having trouble finding us? It's actually quite simple. Whether online or on your TV, it's never been easier to watch and wager on championship horse racing with Capital OTB. Simply log on to capitalotbbet.com. There you can watch our morning shows, live stream races, and wager on our state-of-the-art wagering platform. You can also watch from the comfort of your home on Spectrum Cable Channel 1250 or Fios Channel 467, and win more with Capital OTB.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report on this Saturday morning, live from Saratoga on a gorgeous morning. Time now for the Dark Horse Play of the Day, brought to you by the Dark Horse Mercantile, 445 Broadway in downtown Saratoga Springs. Swing by, enjoy home decor, apparel, racing memorabilia. You'll have a fun time over at the Dark Horse and their sister store down the street, Impressions of Saratoga. Today's Dark Horse Play of the Day, as mentioned earlier, race number 3, horse number 5, Strong Quality. Up to the Mark, the Pletcher Rapoli horse is going to take some action. So the 6-1 on Strong Quality, I don't know where we'll wind up, but we'll get some value here because Up to the Mark is going to take the action. The layoff is the concern with Strong Quality. First 3 starts of the career, this horse has shown some nice promise for Mark Cassie, Gary Barber and company. Debuted down at the fairgrounds at 6 furlongs and ran a nice little third. Followed it up with that experience under the belt. Broke the maiden in the second career start, stretching to a 1.16 miles. Followed it up at a 1.16 miles at the non-winners of 1. Sometimes it'll take a start or two to figure out the next level, and this one just missed there. And now with the layoff, you're kind of thinking, what do we make of the layoff? Well, look at the 4 workouts since. They have all been absolutely solid, including 2 bullets leading into this. I think this horse will be on his toes off of this layoff, and what we saw earlier this year says this horse has some talent, and coming back from a layoff like this may even be improved. That's a possibility. So again, I think we'll get some value. I wonder with that last buyer number if maybe we'll come down a little. This is one I could see going either way, but I'm more likely feeling I think we could come down a couple of points, but I'd still take 4 or 5 to 1 here and be happy with that. So dark horse play of the day today, race number 3, horse number 5, Strong Quality, brought to you by the Dark Horse Mercantile in downtown Saratoga. All right, let's move on to race number 4 and kick off our stakes action for this Saturday. This is the Saranac, that subdivision I always mention liking quite a bit. The 3-year-olds on the turf. Grade 3 event, $200,000 up for grabs, 8.5 furlongs on the grass.
You know, this is one of the oldest races at Naira. Used to be run at Belmont. I think originally Naira had a plan to kind of emulate the English Triple Crown, and this was going to be the Guineas. And the Belmont was going to be the Derby, and the Lawrence Realization was going to be the St. Ledger. But they've run this about 120 times. I think people, I love the race. I'm taking a shot here. The race goes through the 2 to 5 shot. And kudos to David Aragon, who's done a great job. And also the fact that he has put these favorites at the price the public is going to bet them to. And that's his job. The race goes through Annapolis, number 3. He was 2 to 5 on the board. Beat by Nation's Pride most recently in the Saratoga Derby. I took Celestial City, adding blinkers for Chuck McGee, who I've mentioned has had a great meet, comes off a 3rd place finish in the Hall of Fame. Annapolis for a 2nd, comes off a 2nd place finish, won the Manila, previously downstate, and then Pikeway for Graham Motion is my 3rd pick with Junior Alvarado, who is going to be a big price in here. Celestial City is going to be the 2nd choice, so it's 1-3-2 in this year's Saranac.
I went 3-1-5. I did put Annapolis on top. Hard to fault the record so far. Hasn't missed the exacta in 5 starts. That included a 2nd place finish last time to Nation's Pride, who I think is clearly very talented. So I think coming out of that effort, Annapolis will be tough in here. Celestial City underneath also in the hunt far more often than not for Shug, and the nice 3rd place finish in the Hall of Fame attracts attention. And Fuerteventura in the 3rd spot for me. Top 2 kind of seem to separate themselves a little bit from this field. Now, it will be interesting to see maybe if Ethereal Road can, can we draw a line to that first turf race? They come back on the turf. Maybe they feel that wasn't indicative. This is a horse that has, and I talk about it every once in a while as you kind of come out of the Triple Crown season. You'll get some of these 3-year-olds that tried Triple Crown action, and then as you get into early, late summer, they go over to the turf, and sometimes they just outclass the other horses. That clearly wasn't the case last time with Ethereal Road, but could be a little bit intriguing with the 2nd start on the turf. I didn't pull the trigger there, but for me, 3, 1, and 5.
As I've said before, perhaps will be the answer to the greatest horse racing trivia question of all time. On to the 5th, starter allowance, dashing 5.5 on the turf.
4, 11, 1, and 8. I put Blinding Light on top, off the claim. That's the question mark. Claimed moves into a starter allowance. Now, was the company last time the reason this horse ran very well, or did this horse just kind of figure it out and start number 2? I'm going to hope it's more of the latter, because if we get back to what we saw last time, this horse is very live in here, being lightly raced and having won very nicely with a solid number last time. So I'll go slightly in that direction. Mr. Chairman, towards the outside for Christophe Clement, Joel Rosario on board. Nice win to break the maiden last time. This one debuted for a tag, then moved into maiden company off a pretty good-looking debut and validated the confidence there. Now, do note, this is a New York bred, so those were both state-bred races, so class-wise, we'll find out how this one stacks up against Open Company. And then Drink the Wind, we had Matt Cuter in here with us yesterday, a couple days ago.
Thursday, yes.
Yeah, a couple days ago from Adelphi Racing, and talking a little bit about this one. Claimed it, and they said Tom Morley thought the horse would, take to the grass. We'll find out today, because that is the big question mark. But off of that incredible win earlier in the meet, this horse becomes very, very intriguing in here today. I have it 4, 11, 1, and 8. And I'll also always like to mention the local owners. Eddie F. Has Moon Hunter in here with Gary Siaka and Kendrick Carmouche. So we'll be rooting for that one. But again, 4, 11, 1, and 8 for me.
And Drink the Wind is the horse, the Wayne Catalano drop down that has the longest winning mark. Matt Cutera was talking about how a supposition I've made for years that it's got to bring tears to your eyes when a horse you have a claim in for and maiden claiming wins that race. Now, there's a unique situation where they think such a demonstrative win will be fine. But how about Jeffrey Engelhardt on Blinding Light? There's no way that can be a good thing. They break the maiden. I'm 7-4-1, and I'm taking the shipper Custom Bobbies, who I think, should be right on the pace here, and is showing some life sprinting. Exits a 1X over at Monmouth Park, and ran fourth at 5-2. Blinding Light, first time versus winners today. Luis Saez draws a good, and then Drink the Wind, who takes on winners today down inside. Going to be on the giddy up 7-4-1.
Race number 6, maiden special 2-year-olds going 7 furlongs.
Love these races, and this is the slot at the end toward the end of the meet. 2, 9, 10. You find these schedule ones, and Mind Tap for Todd Pletcher, and Offspring of Tappet. Solid works. I rad in the saddle. A logical place. I think many people will fall on the second choice on the morning line, because the morning line favorite is a Danny Gargan first to number 9 Champion's Dream, and Offspring of Justify making the debut. And then my other first time starter in here, number 10 for Sherry DeVoe, Kendrick Carmouche on Cagliostro. We'll find out after about 2:51. But I'm taking the firsters, 2, 9, 10.
I went in 10. The 9 just missed my mix. I would imagine with the 5-2, there's maybe.
You figure that has to be the works. Yeah. I mean, I know it's Justified, but Danny Gargan. So you think the works must be good.
Breeding there as well, obviously, and but I'm going to go with the breeding on Mind Tap. By Tappet, they paid $725,000 for this horse. Sibling may remember this one. Carolina, a few years back, ran second in debut, then had 4 straight wins. The last 2 of those in Grade 1s, the Acorn and the Coaching Club American Oaks right up here. So I thought there was some solid breeding for the Pletcher Rapoli and Company runner to be very live in debut. Kaon, the number 5 horse, goes out for Chad Brown in debut. City Light, not too many first-time starters this year, but they've done okay. 12 first-time starters, couple wins, couple seconds, and a third. So I thought those were solid numbers. Little of the nature and nurture, a little win early breeding, Chad Brown training. So Desert Wolf, another Pletcher runner, Protonico on top. Not too much to go by with Protonico, but that could make this one a little bit intriguing in here at a 10-1 morning line price. So again, I'll be interested to see what the Gargan horse goes off at, and I may regret leaving that one out, but for me it's 2, 5, 7, and 10.
Take a quick break. When we come back, the pick 4.
It only takes one upset to make history, and now you can be part of Saratoga's long tradition at the Dark Horse Mercantile. The Dark Horse Mercantile offers a carefully curated selection of clothing, gifts, and home decor, from one-of-a-kind vintage racing memorabilia to select brands like Barber and Under Armour, as well as exclusive Dark Horse branded merchandise. So celebrate the Dark Horse in all of us at the Dark Horse Mercantile, downtown Saratoga, where the smart bet is always the Dark Horse.
Hello everyone, I'm Scott Vartley, and I'm here at the West Condominiums in Saratoga Springs. And guess what? We are down to the home stretch. Everything is 2 bedrooms and 2 baths. Come make a selection of one of the greatest condos ever to be built in Saratoga Springs. We're starting in the upper 5s, and the only rooftop penthouse available now under construction. Wow, just look at this patio. We have a rooftop pool, heated garage, balconies, and a gym. Call me at 518-281-6808.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're up to race number 7. 3 rolls and up, in for 62. Non-winners are 2, other than going 6.
5-2, the 1 entry, and 8. I put Elite Power on top. Comes in with a 2-race win streak down at Churchill Downs. Hasn't been seen since late June, so a little bit of a layoff. And the workouts aren't necessarily jumping off the page, but boy, what we've seen in the first 5 starts, this 4-year-old certainly seems talented and talented enough to be very competitive with this bunch. So I'll lean slightly in that direction. Higher Standard. June start down at Churchill was pretty good. Came up here to Saratoga and ran a decent third, but I think has shown enough talent in those last 2 starts to think this horse may be moving in the right direction, maybe intriguing, particularly with this bunch, I think is a good fit. Greeley and Ben in the 3rd spot for me, and I also have Amundsen, both parts of the entry, and I don't really have a separation between the two. I thought maybe Amundsen slightly up the last number and a nice win, but I thought on a best effort, Greeley and Ben probably belongs in the mix as well. Certainly there's some back numbers. So again, normally I'll have one that I'm a little more enamored with, and this I think they're both equally interesting. I have it 5-2, the one entry, and 8.
I have 5-2-6. The one thing I'll say about Elite Power, you see the defeat before his winning streak began. The horse that I've talked about from time to time, Strobe, who was a first-time starter. Find the race replay. Look up the charts on Derby Day. Look at Jackie's Warrior, Churchill Stakes race, and Strobe's debut. Strobe was debuting that day after having scratched out the fairgrounds. He's a Godolphin runner. I just can't wait for the second start. But Elite Power gets my top pick. For a second, Higher Standard. Seth and I agree on the exact. I like the 3rd starts. Tom Amos, runner with Dylan Davis. And then Payne, we certainly hope not, running 3rd. 5-2-6 in the 7th.
Keep my eye on my car, Kitty.
This is, you would almost think this is Travers Day, an hour before post time today.
I'm watching as somebody is edging very close to it, now has decided to reverse
and block that area. This is going to be great getting to this wedding. Whatever the opposite of things coming together like a plan is what I am experiencing today of all days.
No, one day you got to get out.
Right.
It's like, where are these people coming
today, from? Like near the end of the meet, and this is not good.
8th race today, maiden specials going 7.
My favorite part is, this is a good place to park. No one would. 8-3-10, ladies and gentlemen, for me. Now this I couldn't believe, Seth. I almost wanted to text you this. Look at number 8. I don't think I have ever seen this. Now, obviously, there's more to it, but Juan Valdez is my top pick. That's a medallion d'oro that costs $900,000. That's not it. Owner. West Point Thoroughbreds, Woodford Racing, and you can tell what is following is the Phippses. Black Cherry Cap is the Phippses. How many partnerships have you seen them in? Very rarely am I interested in the backstory of anything. I'm interested.
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever seen them in a partnership.
You see, as Brian Netto would be laughing right now, you can see the yellow, you can see the orange, a few more lines and there'd be blue, pink, and green. But I want the story. Maybe your first guest has the story. But early, all year, next year is going to be just a bloodbath.
Yeah, you think it's going to turn around?
Juan Valdez, well, it can't be this good, can it? I think it's a great story. It's who I like. The medallion d'oro going 7/8 from the outside. That's my guy. The story might be better. I don't know another thing. I highlighted. We had 200,000, 250, 400,000, 900, 550, 275. Good luck. Arthur's Ride, second time starter, nice on debut. That was that early season 7 furlong race. Now comes back today, and then on the outside, Krupe, Todd Pletcher's runner, 8-3-10 in a very intriguing horse race. But I'm interested in the backstory for a very rare time.
10, 3, 9, and 8 for me. Krupe on top. You read the trouble line, hit the gate 4 wide. To me, I watched the replay. I didn't think, excuse me, I didn't think the start was that bad. I mean, there was a little bit of trouble. Did go to the back of the pack, but it didn't look like it was that bad to me. But did wind up in the back of the pack, and that means that. Boy, that late run, if you go back and watch that race, this horse was coming like a freight train. So I'll put Krupe on top with the experience under the belt. Arthur's Ride in the second slot. A couple of siblings were win early. There was a horse called Victory to Victory, 5th and 2nd, and won the next couple of starts. Another sibling called Peace Points that won its debut. This one didn't quite live up to that, but ran a good second after having shown some oomph in the debut. So again, with the win early, the experience under the belt, Arthur's Ride, and then Fantasist in the third spot. Though there's a lone racing sibling, that wound up to be a winner, but at a couple of minor venues. And so the sibling, being a winner didn't necessarily jump out. But given that, and they paid over $500,000 for this horse, I'm curious to see what this one does, particularly with the bullet workout in tow. So for me, in the 8th, 10, 3, 9, and 8.
One thing I point out, I'll make, I'm not speaking for Seth, but I think you would concur that trip notes are subjective by nature. Some are starkly obvious and very few people would disagree. But I think one of the things when we mention ideas about the things is just go find the race replay yourself and watch it. We're kind of indicating, inviting you to go watch it and decide for yourself whether it's incorrect, whether it's absolutely correct, it's minor, it's less. We're really sort of pushing you to say, check it out for yourself and decide.
When you see a trouble note, it is worth, and it's so easy to find the replays now.
Yes.
And yeah, look for yourself. And it's also worth noting that what's here, the little trouble note over at the side, is an abbreviation of the much longer note. So it's maybe worth also going back and looking at the actual chart and reading the longer note to see, how they parse that out. But yeah, it's so easy to find replays these days, and you can make your own conclusions on those trouble lines.
254 for me. Analyze it. I think is in a good spot coming out. The cliffhanger draws inside for the mile on the 16th. Last victory was last autumn. That was a 3X in here. It was then running for the $100,000 tag, running in for the tag here. Analyze it for Bill Lawrence, my top pick, local person. Graded on a curve, my second pick for Chad Brown's other runner, making the third start of the year. Came back with victory. Lower buyer number. Now we go forward in the third start, and Offspring and Noble Mission, who probably is a stallion, at least in the New York circuit, seems to be the most notable son of Galileo, at least with runners that show up. And then Sanctuary City, 254 in the 9.
210, 6, and 9 for me. I thought the 4 was a little bit interesting as well, but I also put Analyze It on top. But I have serious questions in that this is now a 7-year-old, laid off from December until May, and has had only the 1 start so far this year. The workouts, are okay. Don't jump off the page. I think there's back talent here, and I tilted in that direction. But again, I have some question marks. Eyes on target off of a series of pretty good races. Just seems to be in some pretty good form right now for Mike Maker. Jose Ortiz on board, and Munition in the third spot. Lightly raced for Cherie DeVoe, who's having a very good meet.
Yes.
Hasn't been seen since May down at Churchill, but what we've seen so far says, I think this horse is going to be an okay fit with this bunch. The last workout seems to be okay and may bode well for this afternoon. So in the 9th, I have it 2, 10, 6, and 9.
I was so excited for Analyze It, I went out of turn. We'll take a quick final break. When we come back, the final pick 4 on this Saturday.
No matter where in the world you are, the excitement of wagering on horse racing is just a click away. You'll get live streaming, past performances, race replays, our virtual tote board, analysis and selections from professional handicappers, a simple, safe, and secure wagering platform, and best of all, you get track prices. CapitalOTBBet.com. Bet any place, anytime at CapitalOTBBet.com. And be sure to download our new mobile app from the iTunes Store or Google Play.
What if there was a way to become a better horse player, to have a better knowledge of the game, to be more successful? What if there were a way to take what you've learned, what you know, and make better decisions, better choices? In horse racing, knowledge is a powerful tool. Race results and replays, past performances and live streaming, wagering from all your digital devices. Capital OTB. Become a better horse player.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. Again, keep saying it, but on a beautiful Saturday morning, which will morph into a beautiful Saturday afternoon from all indications, and you can see it behind us here at Clear Court. Gorgeous day. So if you haven't come up yet, come up. If you have come up, add another day to your calendar, because it's going to be a really nice day with a nice schedule of stakes action as well. And we'll jump back into stakes action with the Flower Bowl. Race number 10, Grade 2 event, $600,000, a mile and 3/8 on the grass.
Warlike Goddess, baby. 2 in a row. I mean, she really has at this point. I know she was the beaten favorite in the Breeders' Cup Filly Ameriturf. I was out there. Loves Only You was the other Japanese runner that just won the day, and I thought Warlike Goddess, ran okay that day. According to Buyer Speed Figures, it's the career race for her. She's so dynamic in the last furlong and a half. She kind of jiggy jogs around. Joel Rosario becoming the rider this year. She's 2 for 2. I think she makes it 3 for 3, back-to-back Flower Bowls. Last year a Grade 1, this year a Grade 2. Flanagan's Cove for Shug McGee comes out an off-the-board finish at a big price in the Glens Falls, which is a mile and a half turf race for the Distaffers. And then Virginia Joy, Chad Brown's runner, hit the board at 3-1. Did win the Sheepshead Bay on given the course, but 4-2-3, all Warlike Goddess for me.
Same, 4, 3, 6, and 2. Warlike Goddess has just looked so good in the last two. The Bewitched down at Keeneland and the Glens Falls last time, and the Glens Falls was a very good looking win right up here. So 3 for 3 at Saratoga, and again in very good form. Couldn't get past the favorite there. Virginia Joy, interesting to me, third behind Temple City Terror. I flip-flop those underneath, and I say it a lot. Sometimes we try to get too clever and make that kind of move, and they come in the same order. But I just thought, I mean, take a look. The betting public was kind of on my side last time with 3-1 for Virginia Joy, 14-1 for Temple City Terror. And just looking at the overall records, I'm going to go back to that way of thinking. Virginia Joy over Temple City Terror in the 10th. The Flower Bowl, 4, 3, 6, and 3.
And just one quick thing about Warlike Goddess. I was of the opinion early in her successful run that is such a vulnerable running style. She has made it look absolutely invulnerable running style, which to me is added testament to her talent, that she can get herself in contact later in the race to then just kick in and beat people. And I thought she'd be very vulnerable. She hasn't been. So kudos.
And we should mention 8 for 10 overall.
Oh my goodness! Like I said, and she was sharp in the Breeders' Cup. She just got beat. 11th race. We moved this race up to New York. What, last year, right? Or was it 2 years ago? And then moved the Woodward back to Belmont. But the Jockey,
the last couple.
Jockey Club Gold Cup.
I have it 2, 5, 8, and 6. I went back to Olympiad, and this is just one of those. It's kind of a head scratcher in that, boy, that dud in the Whitney was just so uncharacteristic. I went back to the Stephen Foster. I think Bill Mott has a really talented runner, and I'm going to go back to Olympiad here. But American Revolution, who tossed in a dud in the in the seasonal debut in the Blame. And we had Todd Pletcher in the other day, talked a little bit about this, and he had mentioned that they were looking for the New York bred race that didn't go to start the season, so they wind up in the Blame. It was kind of plan B. Didn't run that well that day for American Revolution and his talent, but rebounded very nicely in the Foster. I think he'll be very intriguing in here today. Possible upsetter of interest, maybe Dynamic One, off the Suburban win last time. I think this horse could be primed for a really nice effort this afternoon. Don't forget that Dynamic One was at this, Suburban was at this mile and quarter distance. So Dynamic One, as I say, to me, intriguing if you're looking to maybe get past the top two in here. I have it 2, 5, 8, and 6.
I'm 6, 8, 3. I'm just going on the supposition that First Captain is on the improve, and Shug's putting him through the paces in the morning. A Curlin, graded stakes going 10 furlongs. I could do worse. For a second, Dynamic One for Todd Pletcher. He won the Suburban as the 9-10 favorite. I have them coming right back in a reverse exacta out of the Suburban. And for third, Untreated, Todd Pletcher's other runner. So it's the Suburban to the hoop for me in the Jockey Club Gold Cup.
Race number 12, conditional claimers. They will come out of the chute going 1 mile.
3:10.8, Mr. Breadwinner, first time in for a tag for the Horatio de Paz barn. Makes the second start since late May. Irad Ortiz gets to mount. I'm throwing out the effort in the slop. We expect this offspring of Tonalist to perform much better in the second start since late May. So Mr. Breadwinner will be my top pick. Draws an inward post. And this was a race where we, without me getting the email, that they had obviously decided on 10 being the maximum field size because the 11, 12, 13 are AEs. And I'm on the outside, first time tag for the Rapoli Pletcher runner, number 10, Midnight Worker. Second start of the year. The comeback race was New York optional 80, non-winners of one other than. And then for third, One More Baby, Jose, first off the $20,000 claim, one of the many winners for Philip Bauer, winning by 10 plus, 3:10.8.
Same exactly here, 3:10, 4, and 6 for me. Mr. Breadwinner, if you watch enough, you know, a class move that I like quite a bit. Moves out of a state bred allowance, a series of state bred allowance races, and into an open claimer. And I've said before, open conditional claimer, even better. So on the class move, Mr. Breadwinner. On the class move, Midnight Worker steps out of some optional claimers and wasn't going for the tag there, has been in some stakes company if you go back a ways. Now they drop in for the 25 tag and do it off a dud on the turf. So I couldn't leave it out with these connections, but there are some questions to be answered for this one. Notable exception, second off the claim for Matt Shearer and 10 Strike Racing. 10 Strike Racing, of course, Marshall Graham had him sitting in here earlier during the meet. A very clever owner on the claiming side of the game, and so I'd expect this one second off the claim and moving down a little bit to be intriguingly spotted. I have a 3:10, 4, and 6.
13th and final, 6:49 this evening. State bred filly and mares. Maiden claim is in for 40, dashing 5.5 on the turf.
11, 9, 1, and 8. I'll go out to Quick Power Nap. Nice little workout coming into this. Comes in off a series of improving numbers for Christophe Clement. Moves in for a tag. There are just check marks and scenarios here that say this one will be very live. Second spot, Eli Dancer. 5-1 on the morning line. And if we get that, I think there's some good value here given what we saw last time when this horse was in a very similar race and ran very well to be a close-up second. And then Chiara, the number 1 horse, 12-1. The Jim Bond runner, I think, could be a little bit interesting off the last couple of third-place finishes. Again, there's a decent price here. Luis Saez sticks off the third last time. That intrigued me a little bit as well. Isaiah Malibu Moon finished in front of that Chiara last time, and I have that one down in the 4th spot. Irad Ortiz on board. We'll see what that one can do. But both of those to me are they're pretty similar, but I thought Chiara's maybe a little more interesting. As I say, I was intrigued that Luis Saez stuck. So 13th and final, 11, 9, 1, and 8.
I have 2 horses not live in this race. I would think you and most people would be in the same ballpark. And I think I was a tough grader on it to let. But I think 2 are outside where I would be, and I don't do it often, that I would shake my head if they won. The other 10 or 11, I wouldn't bat an eye if any of them win. I am 5, 11, 10, and in that case, I stuck with my cardinal rule, and that is I took an 8-1 shot. I start the day with a long shot with Javier Castellano early. Mitch Friedman's runner, number 5, My Cara Mia Mine. First time in for a tag in the 10th career start. Third start since early February. Both of them 4th place finishes. One at 31-1. The next one at 1/10 the price. Running better than odds. Declaration of War. I told you that it was amazing how quickly he got off the start for what you might thought was a long-distance European turf horse. But dashing is fine with me. For second, the outside Quick Power Nap for Christophe Clement. Remember, he won a race the first 4 days. He's won 10 since then. This horse, I think, is live with Joel. And for third, number 10, Gallyhead for Roy Laren, who had a runner just get beat the other day. 5, 11, 10 in a wide open finale. I mean, good luck. It's up. Probably the headliner with Flightline is out at Del Mar today, and it's a great card. Matter of fact, their walkout race is the Grade 2 11 furlong Del Mar handicap. But the 13 races right here today is fantastic. So my point is, it's a great day for thoroughbred racing.
Absolutely.
The Saturday before Labor Day, we're post to Travers, but today is probably nationally as good a day as you will find before the Breeders' Cup. And unfortunately, Seth, I think I saw somebody post something that they thought of the horses on Travers Day, like Malathat was the only one that was going to run between. So enjoy today, is my point.
8:50 post time for the Pacific Classic out at Del Mar. 8:50 our time. So keep that in mind as well.
I usually don't have a vested. I love sports. I do want him to run huge for the game.
Yeah.
I'm very vested in Flightline, going 2 turns, and David Grenning, said it, and I actually didn't dawn on me. And I've said this, Seth. We've been around a long time. I don't think there's ever been a horse who's run one time before September 1st that has been written about. He's not even a 3-year-old in the Triple Crown as this runner, and I want him to move forward today. As much as I'm usually against short prices, and I don't care about backstories. I am interested in Juan Valdez's backstory with the Black Cherry Cap, but Flightline running at the American Classic distance big today is an opinion I hold. I'd like to see him run big, but like you said, don't get fooled. That race is more competitive than the price he's going to be on the board would indicate.
Absolutely.
Anything else?
No, I got an abbreviated show, so we got to wrap up.
All right, we got to wrap up. 2 guests on Racing Across America. He stays, I go. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the next 14 hours of thoroughbred racing.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off Track Betting.